All right, so this week we have the disappearance of Brian Shaffer. We're here joined by Mr. Barnes.
Hey guys.
Do you actually know anything about this?
I don't know. I don't even know what you said. You're frozen.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Brian Shaffer?
Okay. No, I don't know
Oh. I didn't think you knew him.
him.
All right.
You go to a high school or something?
Let's just get into it. In 2006, college student Brian Shaffer would walk into a bar in Columbus, Ohio with two of his friends while on spring break. This would be the last time anyone ever saw Brian, as the only CCTV footage covering the exit showed that Brian seemingly never left the bar. On April 1st, 2006, at around 9 p.m. in Columbus, Ohio, 27-year-old Brian Shaffer met with his friend Clint Florence at a bar called the Ugly Tuna Saloona. That night, the two went bar hopping. At some point in the night, they met with Clint's friend Meredith Reed. Around 1:15 a.m., the trio went back to the Ugly Tuna Saloona for their last round of shots. Around 2 a.m., when the bar was closing, Clint and Meredith realized that Brian had left them. When they tried calling him, they got no response and assumed he just went home early that night. Over the weekend, Brian's friends and father would try calling him without any response. On Monday, April 3rd, after missing a scheduled flight, Brian Shaffer was officially declared missing. Before we continue, let's get into some background on Brian Shaffer. Brian was in his second year of being a med student at Ohio State University, but according to his peers, his real dream was to start a band. Brian often spoke about this dream and even made a post on MySpace about it, saying, quote, "This whole doctor thing is just a job, only temporary until I get my band together and put out a record," end quote. Aside from this, Brian also had a girlfriend, Alexis Wagner. The couple were even going to Miami over the break. Those who were close to them believed that Brian was going to propose to Alexis during the trip. With that, let's get back into the disappearance. Without any clues as to where Brian went, investigators began at the bar where he was last seen. With Columbus being an area where crime was common, CCTV cameras were covering all over the building and surrounding streets. When investigators checked the camera outside of the bar, they found footage of Brian, Clint, and Meredith riding the escalator up to the second floor of the building where the bar was located. A little later, the same camera saw Brian and Clint outside of the bar flirting with two girls, who were identified as Brighton Zacco and Amber Ruick. At 1:57 a.m., the camera showed Brighton and Brian outside of the bar, where Brighton put her phone number into his phone.
So he's getting another girl's number?
Yes.
That bastard.
Yeah, but
How drunk was he at this point?
We're gonna look. I don't know. We're gonna look by this at this point. We're gonna look by this. He'll get a
Brian,
pass.
you motherfucker.
We're gonna
You
look
got
past.
caught. You got caught. Goddamn CCTV.
She went back into the bar to use the bathroom, and shortly afterwards, Brian also walked into the bar. This is the last time Brian was seen. At 2 a.m., the bar closed, and a flood of people were seen leaving and going down the escalator, but Brian was not among this group. Investigators went as far as tracking down each person seen leaving the bar to confirm that they didn't miss Brian. Let's quickly cover the layout of the building. Note that this is one of the biggest misconceptions about the case, and as such, this description of the layout comes from the lead investigator on the case. The Ugly Tuna Saloona was located on the second floor of the building. On this floor, there were escalators in front of the bar. These escalators were in full view of the CCTV camera. Next to the bar was a hallway which had a staircase and an elevator which led to the first floor. Located on the first floor were multiple restaurants, a hallway which led to the loading dock area, and on the rear end of the building was a construction site where a new restaurant was being built. In the construction site, there was also a hole where the elevator shaft was being built, but the hole was only 4 feet deep.
Was he actually 6'2", or does he lie about his height and did he get lost in the hole?
It said it on the FBI missing poster. It was 6'2".
Okay.
Inside each of the restaurants were doors that led to the outside of the building. At the time, these restaurants still would have been open, so it's completely possible that Brian could have slipped out without having been seen.
Also, that bar name sounds like something out of SpongeBob.
It doesn't. I made a little diagram.
What's
here.
it called?
The Ugly
Luna Tuna Saloon?
The Ugly Tuna Saloona.
Ugly Tuna Saloona?
So that's the second floor.
How tough are you?
That's the second floor.
How tough are you?
Would you shut the fuck up?
Do you get the joke?
Yes, cause what was it? The salty splatoon, bro. I get it. Wait,
How tough are you?
Wait. No, this one's good. All right. I'm trying. Okay. So this is the second floor, right? These are the escalators. This is the CCTV. When I saw you go like this, I just knew you fucking...
That's a really good drawing, Caleb. Good job.
Okay.
That is so
Ugly
good.
Tuna Saluna. That's the CCTV camera. Those are the escalators. That's the staircase and the elevator shaft.
Yo, the case breakers don't have shit on us. The case breakers don't have shit.
There was also an emergency exit in the bar, but a security guard was stationed at it.
I want to talk to this stupid fucking security guard. How good do you think the security guards are at a place called the Ugly Tuna Saluna?
Cameras outside of the building and on surrounding buildings were also checked but found no sign of Brian. Without any evidence Brian had left the bar, investigators scoured the inside of the building with dogs but found nothing. Surrounding areas were also checked and hundreds of posters were hung up with a reward being offered. Brian's favorite band Pearl Jam would even take time during a concert to talk about the case and ask for leads. All of this turned up nothing. In 2019, John Hurst, who is the head detective on the case, said in an interview that a few days after Brian's disappearance, his phone pinged in an undisclosed location near the bar. When they went to investigate it, detectives didn't find anything. Amber and Brian would be investigated, but they were quickly cleared. Clint would also be investigated. He cooperated with authorities and was cleared. Brian's girlfriend would call Brian's cell phone every night hoping to get a response without any success. But in September, Brian's phone actually rang a few times before disconnecting. His phone would also ping in Hilliard, Ohio, just a few miles away from where he went missing. However, the cell phone company said that it was possibly a glitch. Unfortunately, the police investigations would turn up no leads. Amber,
ping?
Yes, it's like a ping. Like when you use your phone and you're using the data or whatever, it like pings to a cell phone tower. You know, your phone's always pinging. Yeah, your phone's always doing that. With all that, let's get into the theories. Our first theory is that Brian ran away. While Brian was a normal person, there were multiple times in the past where he would go missing for days on end. This is why it took Brian's family the entire weekend to report him as missing. It may seem like Brian had a lot going for him, but a few months prior to his disappearance, Brian's mother was hospitalized for cancer. Sadly, she passed away about a month before his disappearance. It was not too soon after this that Brian reportedly asked his girlfriend to run away with him, but at the time she didn't know if he was joking or not. On top of this, the night Brian went missing, he met with his dad for dinner, and it was reported that they got into an argument. John Hurst theorized that the argument could have been about how Brian's dad thought they were getting more money from his mother's insurance than they actually were. Brian also suffered from depression in the past and was on medication for it at some point. Many theorized that the stress of med school with upcoming exams, a marriage proposal, and his mother passing could have been enough to cause Brian to run away. This theory seems plausible, but it was also reported by his friends that Brian seemed upbeat during this time, and even though he suffered from depression in the past, there were no signs that he was still suffering. Showing no sign. It's weird. It's also weird that his friends said that he was upbeat a month after his mother passed away.
Yeah, but no, no one ever shows.
I think sometimes, you know, when people are sadder, they try harder to look upbeat.
Yeah.
So Brian also asked his brother Derek and his girlfriend if they wanted to join him at the bars that night. Why would he do this if he was planning on disappearing? 2 years after his disappearance, Brian's father died in an unfortunate accident, leaving his brother Derek alone. Many people claim that Brian would never let his brother be alone.
I think that's the theory. I like it the most.
Yeah, it's a good theory. I like it. Obviously,
and
you know,
it's a good ending because Brian's fine. Sure, he loved his girlfriend, whatever. He literally was on camera getting some other chick's number, so it wasn't that deep.
You make a good point there.
that motherfucker was like, fuck this shit, I'm running away.
Our second theory is that Brian was murdered. Some people speculate that Brian was killed in the bathroom of the bar and that his body was stuffed in the walls. The murderer then came back within the following days and carried his body off. However, this theory has no supporting evidence. Murdering somebody in a bathroom would leave a lot of evidence, and it seems implausible that nobody stumbled upon this in a packed bar.
How the fuck did he hide him in the walls? What kind of theory is that?
I don't know.
Do you know what bathroom walls are made out of in bars?
It's also not likely that somebody could have made off with Brian's body with the amount of people and security cameras. Another part of this theory suggests that Brian somehow accidentally died and that the employees hid his body, waited for everyone to leave, and carried his body off while deleting the security camera footage. Once again, this seems unlikely.
I can't imagine employees being that dedicated.
Yeah, and you can also tell when you delete security camera footage.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the police are like, why are we missing 2 hours?
File deleted.
Yeah.
3 hours.
Some people also believe that his body is still in the wall somewhere, but this also seems impossible because bodies have a habit of smelling bad.
That's
You
a
would
pretty
you
dumb
would be
theory.
shocked how many people actually believe this.
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't, because I feel like a lot of people would believe that dumbass theory.
It's a popular one.
Our third theory is that Clint had something to do with Brian's disappearance. During the initial investigation, Clint was very cooperative and helpful, giving his accounts of that night and telling investigators about Brian. But when the police asked him to do a lie detector test, Clint got a lawyer and refused. After this, Clint would refuse to speak to investigators and stopped his part in the investigation. Brian's family also did not trust Clint. Brian's brother Derek would say, quote, "As soon as detectives started getting involved, that's when he pretty much had no contact with anybody. I've always thought he definitely knows something, just won't come forward with it," end quote. It's also reported that Alexis believes that Clint may also know more than he is letting on. A few weeks earlier on St. Patrick's Day, Brian and Clint had been in a heated argument with each other. The details of this argument are unknown, but they eventually did settle down. It was also reported that Brian and Clint had been in an argument at the bar the night Brian disappeared. Soon after Brian's disappearance, Clint would also move away. But this theory only goes so far. Even though all of this activity is suspicious, there is logic behind it. Lie detector tests aren't as accurate as people think they are and can easily make an innocent man guilty. As such, it would make sense that Clint's lawyer would advise against taking the test. Also, Brian and Clint were reportedly good friends, and as everyone knows, friends get into arguments.
But yeah, again, the arguments, you know, if arguing was suspicious, then I think me and you would be like,
Yeah, we'd be
yeah,
fucked.
we'd be fucked.
If one of us went missing,
It wouldn't look
main
good.
prime suspect.
Especially during the PF days. We used to get into an argument every time at Planet Fitness.
Oh man.
Yeah, but if something happened to us then, not looking good for the other person. Not looking good. Not good at all.
I'd be in jail right now.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about killing this man? No. I pinky promise.
Our final theory is that Brian was murdered by the smiley face killers. From the late 90s to early 2010s, a number of well-educated, successful, popular college-age men were found dead in bodies of water across the Midwestern states. Most of these men were killed after they left a party or a bar. It's theorized that these killings were the work of one or multiple killers who communicated through the dark web to target their next victim. The name comes from the smiley face graffiti that was found near several of the bodies. Brian Shaffer fits the description well, and he disappeared after a night at the bar. However, the problem with this theory is the fact that there is little evidence that the smiley face killers even exist. In 2008, the FBI stated, quote, "To date, we have not developed any evidence to support links between these tragic deaths or any evidence substantiating the theory that these deaths are the work of a serial killer or killers," end quote. Also going further is that smiley faces are very common graffiti and were found only at some of the scenes.
Oh yeah, it's pretty easy for drunk people to kill themselves. And these bodies were also all found near bodies of water. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming that they just fell in or something. Tried to take a swim, were too drunk, too tired, drowned. Yeah. And then there's smiley face graffiti by them.
Yeah, I agree. I think this dude. I think it's a good ending. I don't think this is a bad case. I think he's probably doing fine.
Yeah. Again, it's completely likely he left the bar. Even the lead investigator said that in an interview. He said that it's completely possible that he could have left without.
He is not still in the barn or in the bar.
Yeah,
he's not still there.
That is a fact.